world of the export. Don't we come up with
Federal government suspends $950 million Eurobond borrowing over pricing. Federal government says $15.6 billion Abidjan Lagos highway to benefit 40 million commuters. Crude oil exports jump by 194%, hit 5.6 trillion in 3 months. Plus shares in Asia Pacific mixed in Tuesday morning trade. This is Business Express on a network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, the NTA, and we are reaching you from Abuja, the nation's capital. I'm Leah Katung, Babatunde. You're welcome. The federal government says it has shelved plans to raise about $950 million selling overseas bonds owing to unfavorable market conditions during the time frame approved for the fundraising. Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning Zainab Ahmed said government planned to sell as early as May its second external debt this year to help plug fiscal deficits. The planned $950 million bond sale would have accounted for the balance of $6.1 billion overseas borrowing plan for 2021 after it raised the second tranche of $1.25 billion in March. Preparations for commencement of operations of Nigeria Air. The proposed national carrier for Nigeria has reached advanced stage with the issuance of air transport license by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority to the interim management of Nigeria Air Monday in Abuja. Benny Adams reports that the issuance of air operator certificate, which is expected soon, will signal the commencement of full operations.
Of strong airlines in Nigeria in view of the single African air transport market and the African continental free trade area, which can make significant contribution to the growth of the Nigerian economy. We have one of the largest markets, if not the largest market in Africa, and we stand to gain the most from this AU Agenda 2063 programs.
One aspect of the entire roadmap project, which, as you know, includes an MRO, which is a maintenance facility, aircraft leasing, a university specifically geared towards educating people in the aviation sector.
And still with the transport infrastructure, the federal government says the construction of the 1,028-kilometer Abidjan-Lagos highway is expected to benefit at least 40 million West Africans upon completion. This is as the link bridge that connects Nigeria to Cameroon, which was largely funded by the African Development Bank, will be commissioned this month. The highway is estimated to cost $15.6 billion, which is expected to have a significant impact on the economies of 5 regional countries, namely Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria, remained firmly on course. This was made known by the Minister of Works and Housing, Babatunde, who doubles as the chairman of the 5 regional ministerial steering committees. He noted that resources are being mobilized to ensure the Nigerian axis of the project is completed soon. Africa and Russia agreed to open up businesses of food supply chain as Ukraine war bites harder on the continent. Low supply of wheat affecting the price of bread and noodles in Nigeria. This is coming as African Development Bank is making efforts to improve production on the continent. Now Musa Babaliu has that report.
Production and supply have continued to bite harder across the African continent. This is as a result of war between Russia and Ukraine, coupled with the sanction imposed on Moscow by the US and European Union. However, recent meeting between African Union and Russia is expected to address the challenges. Senegalese President Macky Sall met with the Russian President Vladimir Putin, where they discussed the multi-billion grain and farming input businesses that was put on hold. In the meantime, the African Development Bank President Akumi Adesina said the rise in the oil prices caused by the war is also hurting Africa's economy. Adesina also lamented the Russian blockade of ships in the Black Sea, which is holding back tons of millions of Ukrainian grain meant for other countries, including some in Africa. The African Development Bank recently authorized a $1.5 billion program to ensure that Africa grows enough food to feed its citizens.
Africa has 65% of all the arable land left in the world. So what Africa does with agriculture will determine the future of food in the world.
And in Nigeria, master bakers have raised concerns over the recent high cost of flour and other ingredients for making bread and noodles. This has resulted to the high cost of bread and noodles in the country.
So I'm already trying to research on how to switch wheat for something else. What we have on mind for now is achar, that's fonio. Yeah, so I'm taking between now and Friday to make that decision.
Recently, Ghana and Uganda announced a ban on food exports, especially grains and other farm produce. So on the program today, we shall be taking a look at how Nigeria can capitalize on this ban to increase export of its produce. I have with me a former director of the Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development. He's also an agribusiness consultant and a consultant with the African Development Bank, Aziz Olumuyiwa, to speak on these and many more issues. You're welcome, Mr. Aziz, to Business Express.
Thank you very much, and thank you for having me.
I hope you ain't caught up in the morning traffic in Abuja today.
I have to leave the house very early.
Oh.
I need to be here.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And so, perhaps we start by you telling us how the issue between Russia and Ukraine is affecting the grains supply and accessibility in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Maybe first on a lighter note, I want to say that that may be a good vaccine for the whole world, because we were having
the
COVID pandemic and the whole noise everywhere was COVID. But unfortunately, immediately the war started.
We just forget about the pandemic.
Just disappeared, which means a very good vaccine. And on a serious note, I want to say that it is really going to impact negatively on Africa and most especially on Nigeria. We are talking about the two countries that are accounting for 30% of the entire traded wheat. And when that 30% is taken out of the total traded commodity, you will agree that it's definitely going to affect. Take for example, Nigeria is sourcing close to 5% of the total wheat import from Russia. According to the trade information made available by the Observatory Economic Complexity, which is the major source. Nigeria is sourcing substantial percentage of the wheat we use in the production of bread, in the production of noodles from Russia. And when now that we are no longer having access to it, this is making the price to go up. Other countries that are top African and non-African countries that are also importing wheat from Russia increase. We want to talk about Bangladesh, we want to talk about Egypt, we want to talk about Nigerians. And when you see all of us competing for this wheat from this area, and the wheat is no longer coming. Nigeria, for example, imported 6 million metric tons of wheat in 2021 and 6.6 in 2020. And with the reduction, the price will definitely go up. We are now seeing that the price of wheat per bag, which used to be 18 naira per bag, as of today is 25 naira per bag. And that is why the common food called the common man, a bread that a common man can buy for 100 naira, is now being sold as high as 250 naira.
Is there any relationship between the increasing price of staples like bread with other food commodities, since we're experiencing a general rise in
definitely this is a simple economy. Once people cannot buy bread, they will have to shift to other commodities. People will now shift to commodities such as maize, such as other things. So the problem we're having with will definitely have a multiplier effect on the other commodity, and that is what we are experiencing today. It is not only on the food market. Look at the energy market. The price of diesel, which we were buying originally for less than 400, less than 500, is now being sold for 760 naira per liters. This will have a resultant effect on the food, and that is why the food is getting out of the reach of the common man, and the food inflation is now getting very, very high, in spite of the effort of the Central Bank of Nigeria to curtail it, in spite of the effort of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, in spite of the effort of the farmer producing. You will agree with me. Take, for example, the issue of wheat. We were able to increase the production of wheat from what used to be 55,000 metric tons. We've been able to step it up through the effort of Federal Ministry of Agriculture, Anchor Bora programs. Nigerians are now going to the farm, and this has shown in the slight decrease, which is not very, very significant, to have a serious effect on the price. So we need to do something.
Doing something. There used to be the drive to substitute wheat with cassava for bread. Are we still doing that substitution?
Yeah, thank you very much. This used to be a very good initiative, first introduced by President Olusegun Obasanjo, and during the agricultural transformation agenda, we also of Dr. Akinwumi Adejina, current president of the African Development Bank. He was able to push the program. I was the director of rural development in the ministry then, and we pushed it so well. We supported the farmers, we supported the master bakers, we even made available to them equipment. At the time when the flour millers were not ready to cooperate, we decided to bring in some machineries that will help the farmers, and we even supported the master bakers with equipment that will be able to do this. We were virtually succeeding with it. People were changing their machineries to accommodate this. We successfully reduced the importation of the wheat, but unfortunately, due to sustainability issue, due to policy, somersault in quote, I'm not sure we are continuing this program, and cassava farmers are crying. The wheat, because of this, we are exerting a lot of pressure on the foreign exchange. Don't forget, some people have already changed their machine to accommodate this. So we need to dust our book again. We need to go back to this because we were already doing it, and we have perfected this, and it will have been a way out of this problem. Because as you have potato bread, as you have all sorts of bread, we should also have cassava bread, and we should continue the policies. And take, for example, people saying wheat bread, mainly for the diabetic patients. The most important thing is the glycemic index. When you look at which is the rate at which a particular food item releases sugar into the blood. When you look at the glycemic index of cassava, is lower than that of wheat. So there's no problem. Cassava is good for you. Cassava is good for me. When you eat it, once you remove the hydrocyanuric acid from it, you are good. And you'll be looking more beautiful than this when you eat cassava bread.
So in that report before now, we had the baker talk about acha.
Yes.
From my side of the country, we farm that a lot. But it will be like a lot of Nigerians still don't know about it.
You're right. Let me be honest with you. Acha is a fantastic crop. It's highly nutritious, low in glycemic index. The glycemic index of acha is between 5 to 30%. So it's good for diabetes, but it's good for any patient. This is what I eat. I eat it as pap, and I eat it as because I'm trying to check my sugar spike. Eat it anytime. And that is why you people from your side use it as akpa, something like moi moi,
opa, for just everything at all.
It's so good, highly nutritious, and healthy food. So we need to promote it. This is another crop we need to promote. Don't forget I said the glycemic index is a little bit high. It's as high as 50%. Why acha is between 10 to 30%. It's a very good food.
Okay, so before I let you go, how do you think the agro-processing zones will alleviate this situations we found ourselves in, and also is the private sector playing a key role in alleviating this pressure?
I think the government will need to come to the aid of the agro-processing sectors. They are really crying. You look at the price of diesel, it's far from their reach. You look at the price of the wheat bread as are today, 25 naira per bag, and that is even the least quality, otherwise known as confectionaries. The one they call premium from the flour mills of Nigeria is selling as high as 26 to 27 naira per bag.
Wow.
Government will need to do something. So if government we want to prevent some of the unscrupulous processors of bread from going or using sharp practices, they may go back to bromide, they may go back to using saccharin that are cancer causing inputs. Most of our masses will be eating junks rather than good bread, because the best way they can go about it is either to increase price or to use bad materials, bad inputs. So to be able to do this, government need to do something. Since NAFDAC is doing a lot, but the space is wide, and our masses may not know anything. They won't be able to differentiate it. So the processors will need to make money, and they need to pay for raw materials, pay their workers, and pay for everything. Government will need to do something, and this is the time government will need to come to it. Either find a way of producing more wheat, and I want to thank the federal government of Nigeria, commend the central bank, the anchor borrow on wheat. Farmers, Nigerian farmers are very smart, sharp. They are already going to mass production of wheat. In fact, African Development Bank is currently working with government to develop a 10-year strategic plan for wheat production, making Nigerians self-sufficient in wheat production in the next 10 years.
Okay.
Okay,
I must sincerely thank you, Mr. Aziz, for coming on the program this morning.
And thank you very much.
Great. So we move next to Surviving COVID-19 series as put together by Bosley Abel.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
I'm into electronics giant called Electronics Giant, all type of generators, fuel generator and diesel generator for past 50 years. I start with when I start learning. When I go to Lagos, I grew up in Lagos. When I go to Lagos, I went to my brother's with holidays. From there, I always go to the shop to monitor the movement, the business. From there, I pick and I'm interested in something. So I grew up with that business. Nothing is moving. Even to come out is hardly to come out. Then, upon all the whole situation in the country, no money, no business, the wharf is closed and nothing is moving. We just fall from, we survive by the grace of God. Because when you come to the market here, they lock up the market for more than how many months, and we'll be at home with our families. I have a friend in Lagos, people that always ship goods to me to Abuja here to sell, because I sell my business in Lagos, so I know a lot of people, I know a lot of avenue, and so many people come to me and ask me what goods are moving in Abuja here. No, here is capital. It's not like a business area. Here is a government area. So we will try, but in fact, I thank God for putting me into this business. Affects the work is everything good. This is World War now. This is World War. It's affect everything. Even the oil like that. Everything is affected. No, many Africa the thing not affect the rest of the world. So it affect us. You can see how we are looking, how we are living. Waiting for people did not know they are coming. I always see it on TV, the advert or something like that, but I never come across that. I wish I would come across that now. I will be happy. Why is CBN now? It's our government now. I'm a Nigerian. So if I'm among of the people, I will be glad. Any type of business, once there is loan and to pay for the loan, I have to work hard. Yes, I have to work hard.
Surviving COVID-19 series is brought to you in partnership with the Central Bank of Nigeria.
That was Mr. Arinze there, and yes, it is a Nigerian product for the Nigerian people, most especially those in the MSME sector. Now in 2021, the Federal Executive Council approved the revised national policy on micro, small and medium enterprises, which provides the framework to resolve the challenges faced by the subsector. To ensure the success of the policy, Minister of State for Industry, Trade and Investment, Katung, has formally inaugurated focal persons for the various ministries, departments and agencies whose task is to ensure that Nigeria's MSME subsector is not just active but equally globally competitive and increase MSME's contribution to exports and GDP.
BMOs in developing sector-specific action plans and nomination of focal persons will certainly increase the pace of activities that will drive the development of the nano, micro, small and medium enterprises by the policies focused on finance, skills development, marketing, technology, research and development.
What we want to achieve through the work development group and the main objectives of the policies, which include one, to foster the emergence of new elements in Nigeria, especially among women and youth. To accelerate the profitable expansion of existing and MSMEs along the value chain and move transition to higher levels.
There was a positive start on the Nigerian stock market this Monday as the NGX All-Share Index appreciated by 0.34% to open this morning at 53,086 0.86 basis points. 755.6 million shares were traded by investors in 4,297 deals valued at 8.9 billion naira, with market capitalization rising to 28.6 trillion naira. And outside home, Asia Pacific stocks were mixed in early trade as investors await Australia's interest rate decision.
International markets are gearing up for key US data releases this week as shares in Asia struggled for direction in Tuesday trade after the Reserve Bank of Australia announced a larger than expected interest rate decision. Mainland Chinese stocks closed mixed, with the Shanghai Composite up 0.11% to 3,240, while Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index slipped 0.55%. Nikkei 225 of Japan added 0.10%. European stocks are expected to open in negative territory amid nervousness over inflation. The UK's FTSE index is seen opening 39 points lower. Germany's DAX and France's CAC 40 are also pointing down. US stock futures declined early Tuesday morning after a sleepy day of trading as investors await key inflation data due out later in the week. Futures tied to the Dow Jones Industrial Average edged lower by 187 points or 0.51%. S&P 500 futures and Nasdaq 100 futures also fell. Markets in Africa have just opened this morning and are yet to post numbers.
And we end a Business Express this morning on that note. And of course, if you are resident in Abuja, do not forget to adhere to the traffic restrictions and diversions rule for today as the APC converges on the nation's capital for its Congress. And of course, the traffic situation might not be friendly to you if you don't have any reason at all to be outside your home. The Nigerian Television Authority will be bringing that live to you. Business Express returns tomorrow at 3 p.m. My name is Leah Katung Babatunde. God bless Nigeria.